A drunken U.S. Marshal, barely able to stand straight, is the only man a 14-year-old girl trusts to hunt down her father's killer. He drinks, he stumbles, yet looks like the last person who could deliver justice. But when the bullets start flying, he proves there's a clever method behind the madness. In 1878, in Yell County, Arkansas, Frank Ross hires Tom Cheney and brings him to Fort Smith to help drive a herd of Mustangs. But Cheney squanders his money on drinking and gambling, then, in a drunken rage, shoots and kills Frank before stealing his gold and fleeing.
Cheney fled.
Days later, news of Frank's death reaches his devastated family, where his determined 14-year-old daughter Maddie takes it upon herself to settle his affairs and seek justice. Traveling to Fort Smith with the family's butler, she collects her father's body,
that is my father,
sends it home with the limited money they have, and chooses to remain behind alone, carefully managing expenses, arranging a proper burial, and preparing to confront the authorities in pursuit of her father's killer. As Maddie continues her mission in Fort Smith, she witnesses a public hanging.
Hello, company.
Observing the grim spectacle before approaching the sheriff, who admits his limited ability to pursue Tom Cheney and advises her to hire a U.S. Marshal instead.
William Waters is the best tracker.
Determined, she evaluates the available candidates and selects the toughest among them, Rooster Cogburn. But her first attempt to recruit him fails.
There is no clock on my business.
Undeterred, Maddie spends the night in the Undertaker's morgue and sets out the next morning to secure funds, successfully bargaining with a stubborn horse trader to buy back her late father's ponies after threatening legal action.
For $300. Now you must take that.
She then settles briefly at a crowded boarding house, collects her father's belongings, and endures a restless night before tracking down Rooster again at the courthouse, where she confirms his ruthless reputation. Armed with money and resolve, she makes a second attempt to hire him.
I'm looking for the man who shot and killed my father, Frank Ross.
But Rooster refuses, dismissing her due to her young age despite her persistence. If you are enjoying this recap, make sure to like the video. The next morning, Maddie discovers a Texas Ranger pursuing Tom for multiple crimes, but she refuses his help, determined to see Tom hanged locally for her father's murder.
I'm not having him go to Texas to hang for shooting some senator.
After settling business with Colonel Stonehill, she cleverly negotiates the purchase of a pony, naming it Little Blackie.
It's very spirited. Call him Little Blackie.
She then tracks down Rooster, finally convincing him to take the job despite disagreements over her joining the journey. Firm in her resolve, Maddie insists on accompanying him into dangerous territory, and after persistent arguing, he reluctantly agrees to meet her the next day, and arrives as planned the following morning, only to find Rooster has already left,
Where's Marshal Cogburn?
abandoning her with a ticket home and a note urging her not to follow as he heads alone into the Indian Territory. Determined not to be left behind, Maddie chases after Rooster and LaBeef, defies an attempt to stop her,
Marshal told me you'd show up. I'm to present you to the sheriff.
and boldly rides her horse across the river into Indian Territory, successfully rejoining them and confronting Rooster for abandoning her. Her defiance sparks tension, leading LaBeef to punish her until Rooster intervenes, and the uneasy trio continues together, clashing over values as they travel. The next morning, Maddie learns of Rooster's deal to take Tom to Texas for a reward, which enrages her and causes further conflict, ultimately driving LaBeef to part ways.
Adios.
Continuing alone, Maddie and Rooster follow clues to a remote store, deduce the gang's likely path toward the winding Stair Mountains, and press on through the wilderness, where Rooster opens up about his past. Their journey takes a grim turn when they discover a hanged corpse, and Rooster, unable to manage it himself, orders Maddie to climb up and cut the body down to identify it. As Maddie and Rooster press on, a stranger takes the hanged body to barter for supplies, and a warning gunshot alerts them that someone is trailing them. They briefly encounter an eccentric dentist who points them toward shelter, leading them to a dugout occupied by two outlaws. Using a clever tactic, Rooster and Maddie flush them out, resulting in a violent shootout where one outlaw is killed and the other, before dying, reveals that Ned's gang is approaching.
A few days ago, Bagby's store.
The pair hide and prepare an ambush, but events spiral when LaBeef unexpectedly arrives and is captured by the gang. A chaotic gunfight erupts as Rooster engages the outlaws, managing to take some down, but in the confusion he accidentally shoots LaBeef, who is being dragged across the field. In the aftermath of the shootout, Rooster kills most of the gang while Ned escapes, and the group confirms that LaBeef will survive his injury.
What happened to your mouth?
Though Maddie is disappointed that Tom is not among the dead. Rooster predicts Ned will retreat to the mountains, and they plan to pursue him the next day, spending the night at the dugout while Maddie eagerly anticipates the final confrontation. By morning, it's clear Rooster has been drinking heavily, and tensions rise as he and LaBeef argue during the journey, even competing in a reckless shooting contest before Maddie refocuses them on their mission. After a long trek, they reach the mountains but find the gang absent, and that night, ongoing conflict, fueled by Rooster's drunkenness, pushes LaBeef to finally break away from the group,
I shall make my own camp elsewhere.
frustrated with the failing hunt. Subscribe to the channel before watching ahead. Just as LaBeef prepares to leave, Rooster abruptly declares the hunt over, claiming the gang has likely escaped and abandoning his agreement. LaBeef also refuses to continue,
I'm going with you.
That is not possible.
believing the trail has gone cold. But before parting, he and Maddie reconcile, acknowledging each other's strength and sharing a respectful farewell. Left behind, Maddie returns to care for Rooster, and the next morning, while fetching water alone, she unexpectedly comes face to face with Tom, who initially threatens her before recognizing her and cautiously approaching, setting the stage for a tense encounter. Maddie boldly confronts Tom alone, pulling her father's revolver and demanding he return with her to face justice.
I have come to take you back to Fort Smith.
But when he mocks her, she shoots him, only for her gun to fail at a critical moment as he overpowers and kidnaps her. Rooster, alerted by the gunshot, arrives just as Ned and his gang appear, forcing a tense standoff where Ned takes Maddie hostage and threatens her life to make Rooster back off.
Kill this girl! You know I will do it!
Using deception, Rooster pretends indifference and offers the gang a chance to escape, buying time as Ned takes Maddie to their hideout, where Tom is treated for his wound. Impressed by her determination, Ned questions Maddie about her pursuit, and she recounts Tom's crime and her relentless efforts. As Rooster signals from afar,
That rooster waylaid us.
Ned prepares to flee with his gang, leaving Tom behind with Maddie due to a shortage of horses and warning him not to harm her.
Any harm comes to that child, you do not get paid.
Alone with her father's killer, Maddie is terrified and tries to bargain for her safety, but Tom, feeling abandoned, attacks her until LaBeef suddenly arrives and rescues her, revealing he and Rooster had coordinated a plan. Meanwhile, Rooster doubles back on his deal and confronts Ned's gang in a fierce shootout, killing several men but sustaining serious injuries before LaBeef saves him with a long-range shot that kills Ned.
Woohoo!
The chaos isn't over as Tom regains consciousness, knocks out LaBeef, but she bravely seizes a rifle and finally kills him, avenging her father. However, the recoil sends her falling into a snake pit, where she faces deadly danger until Rooster, despite his injuries, rushes in and descends to rescue her. After rescuing Maddie from the pit, Rooster kills the snakes, treats her bite, and rushes her toward safety, reconciling with LaBeef before parting ways to get her urgent help. Racing through the night, Rooster pushes their horse to exhaustion,
We must stop.
ultimately carrying Maddie on foot after the animal collapses, and finally reaches help, but her hand must be amputated to save her life. Years later, an older Maddie receives a letter from Rooster, now part of a traveling show, but arrives too late to see him before his death.
You passed away 3 days ago.
Honoring their bond, she has him reburied in her family plot and continues to visit his grave, living a solitary life marked by the lasting impact of their journey. Share it with your friends, and thanks for watching.